I would like to make this kwento that I have been working on several Lean Six Sigma projects, attempting to get certified since 2018. No, and after a few bumps in the road, right now I am very grateful for this certification. Siguro to start my story, I'd like to talk to you or make kwento about my project. No, so basically my project is entitled the reduction of average document review turnaround time to 7 days. This project was actually born out of necessity because when this project was conceptualized, I was the director for quality documentation and process management. And at that time, one of the major projects that I was actually tasked on was the creation of a startup playbook. It's basically a combination of interdependent processes that are necessary to activate the building, a newly constructed building for occupancy. So whether it's a condo or whether it's a BPO office, right? So there's a startup process necessary to activate that. And at that time, my team was basically tasked to translate 200, approximately 200 plus processes into bite-sized documents. And we estimated at that time to have it completed by July of 2021. No? And what's interesting is that about a month into the review process, I observed that the review effort was actually taking a long time, a longer time than it should. And I realized that if I allowed it to go on like that, we wouldn't be able to hit our target. No? So at that point, I decided to apply the learnings in our training, right? Especially the use of the Six Sigma circuit, and basically initiate changes in the process. So in summary, at the start of the project, we basically were averaging around 9.2 days per document na review. But using the tool, the Six Sigma circuit, and with a lot of coaching from Sir Rex and Six Sigma PH, our team was able to reduce the process time to about 1.37 days. So if you will notice, you are actually looking at 1 full week of review speed na, I don't know if it's faster by about a week, right? Than compared to the original. And we were able to basically save close to about 2 million, actually around 2 million on average na overtime pay due to the reduction of overtime hours in the review effort. Okay. So the first roadblock would be stakeholder participation. I think everybody knows this already, that it's human nature when there is change, change is always resisted. Okay, and unless you're able to demonstrate that change is beneficial for them, it will be status quo, right? I recall there was this one incident. We were doing the root cause analysis. So I believe you guys have already went through that. We actually had to do 3 rounds of RCA on our first meeting. Actually, first two meetings, if I'm not mistaken, because the participants felt that it was not a safe space for them to share their thoughts on the root causes of what the problem. I mean, why it takes longer for the review process to complete, right? So we had to remind and assure them that it was a safe space, right? And we had to, in a way, reward them with confidentiality, on their contribution to the exercise. So that's one of the incidents that I recall. On another instance, I also had this issue on during the introduction of the process improvements. I actually had a daily meeting with my sponsor to continually update him of our challenges in the action plans that, in the recommended moving forward steps, no, because in that particular time, uh, many of our stakeholders were a bit not so comfortable with the new improvements that we have introduced, right? So what what I did at that time was to basically pilot test, no, base around 20 documents, if I'm not mistaken, at that time. We pilot tested 20 documents with the process owners' participation. So we had to, the word is handhold them in the course of the first 20 documents that they had, just for them to have a feel of how the new process will actually benefit them and how it was easier for them to build on, no, and use while they're writing their process documentations, right? So that's the first one, stakeholder participation. The second is that um, I would say the remote working issues, no. Um, if you'll recall, back in 2021, it was still the height of the pandemic, right? And everybody was actually working from home. And we all know this. We have a fair share of stories on internet service failing, right? We had data issue problems, and during meetings, people are abruptly cut off from the meeting because nawalan ng internet, diba? And a lot of times, we were having miscommunications and challenges in actually pursuing a common goal, a common agreements on how we want our project to move forward, right? And so I would say this, that we were basically very patient with our team. We agreed na we will make recall notes, right? In order for us to have something to read on after our meetings, and for those who were not able to attend in those meetings, they have something to read on, right? So that in the next round of meetings, they will be able to participate. Um, on top of that one, I think what worked also for us during that time is that my sponsor kasi actually had this weekly department meeting, right? Wherein the teams actually report progress on our targets and tasks for the week, right? And in a way, I was able to piggyback on that framework and actually reap a lot of benefit from updating also our team as to our progress and how we are winning in the process improvement of our review effort, right? So that's the second one. We had remote working issues. And lastly, I think the third one, and I must say that this is a bit personal. I would say that another roadblock is myself, no? And I think during the course of the project po kasi, and I think I will say this, that at some point we all experience doubt, we all experience worry and uneasiness, especially when you're midway into your project, and you have actually applied all the solutions that the team has provided, and yet there is no significant result or output that's coming out of the improvement, right? I recall there was this point in the improvement stage. No, it was a period between May and June, I think, if I'm not mistaken. We have actually applied two solutions to the RCA that we thought would actually create the drastic change, no, in the review speed. However, it did not, right? And we had to go back to the drawing board and at that point, I was already thinking to myself na mangyayari kaya ito. And I think what actually allowed me to push through that block was the fact that I was in constant communication with my sponsor. I was always reminded that pursuing that project is actually very important to the team. No, and in many ways, it also helped me accountable to what I promised my sponsor, especially that he actually supported the project in the first place. So yeah, and I think many of you who will pursue your project after this training will also encounter that. And I think it is imperative that we keep communications with your sponsor, or actually another thing is when you pursue your project, please communicate also constantly with Sir Rex and the Six Sigma PH team, so that you can also be guided. And I'd like to share with you three things that helped me during this, how the Six Sigma PH training helped me. The first one is it actually helped me to have a perspective on the practical application of Lean Six Sigma in my work scope and KPIs. Kasi people in general have this general notion that Lean Six Sigma is difficult, it's puro math, ang daming graphs, right? I actually saw kanina the box plot and everything, right? Tapos, you will be doing control charts and everything. And I think the training, in many ways, have created a perspective in me that Lean Six Sigma doesn't need to be as complicated as what my perception of before the training Lean Six Sigma is. And what the training gave me was that it gave me the tool, especially the Six Sigma circuit, as a toolkit which allowed me to simplify and organize my process improvement effort from conceptualization of my project charter until the completion of my project. So in many ways, I can say that the Six Sigma circuit and basically the training made my execution of my process improvement project easier and faster, as I am only focused on the essentials. So that's the first benefit that I got from the Six Sigma PH training. The second is that the training actually allowed me to have confidence that the tools work. Okay, as many Lean Six Sigma professionals have used them previously, and shows that there is actually an indisputable proof of success. So I think I need not overstate it, but trust me, the system works. The system works if you just follow it, right? And finally, the third one is that the training and coaching actually, and I will emphasize this, coaching, allowed me to clarify how to better proceed with my project. And included here are the correct and appropriate presentation of project facts that is understandable to my audience, especially to management and my colleagues. The key kasi, at least in my experience, the key is to keep the leadership or actually your sponsor involved, and see actually wins in the project or the process improvement project that you are doing. So the training, the Six Sigma circuit, and especially the coaching actually allowed me to have that edge, in presenting project facts, right? I would suggest to keep it simple. Find a project that improves processing time first, or a project that has a high turnaround of data generation. Kasi from what I noticed, so I've mentioned earlier that I have attempted several projects, Lean Six Sigma projects, and actually this is the only one that I know that I pushed through. Kasi in yung mga previous projects ko kasi hindi ganun kabilis ang hindi ganun ka-noticeable yung improvements. I had this project. I had to wait like 30 days, 30 days for new data to come in, right? And parang 30 days is too long to notice improvement. And more often than not, people lose support, no, if they cannot if they cannot see any improvements at all, no, in the effort, no, in the process improvement effort. So and kaya I would suggest, please focus on finding a project that has an opportunity for faster data generation, or you may mabilis na turnaround time. Um, ito, if I may say this also, that you don't actually need to look far and wide for a process improvement to work on. Too often, the project is actually right in front of you, like an assigned task, or possible a process that your role is involved in. Pero this process or task actually irks or annoys you. Yung tipong how you wish na sana may mabilis or may magandang paraan para gawin ito. And you might baka ikaw lang yung hinihintay para i-improve yung task na yan, right? So there. So please keep it simple. Now, number two, I would recommend and highly recommend, please do coaching when you start your project. Please keep in touch with Sir Rex and the Six Sigma PH team when you pursue your project, no? And because I think na they have a wide range of experience already in the areas of Lean Six Sigma and process improvement. You guys are fortunate to be part of Six Sigma PH, as I did, no? Because you will get tons of support when you start working on your projects, and you actually will not need to reinvent the you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Just follow the coaching, ask relevant questions, and then you will get the targets that you are setting. You are set on to. Also, as part of coaching, I would recommend also to keep communications with your sponsor at all times, no? Kasi their support is pivotal in the success of and failure actually of your project. So very, very important, right? And finally, please follow the system, no? The Six Sigma circuit, no, which was created by Sir Rex. I'm very grateful for the Six Sigma circuit actually. Um, um, it actually works, no? It actually works. And if you want to know how and why it works, I recommend using it tomorrow in your chosen project. Don't wait for next week. Do it tomorrow, right? And while the training is good, and I applaud you for being here, but putting use of the learnings today will separate you from those who makes an impact in your company, in your community, even in your family, and those who don't. No? Conversely, those who get those people who applies their learnings actually are the people who get certified, right? And the others who just know it, they don't get certified. And siguro, at this stage, I'll end by sharing this quote from an American entrepreneur and business leader, Andrew Carnegie. And he said that knowledge isn't power until it is applied. So thank you very much, Six Sigma PH, for this opportunity. Thank you, Sir Rex.